In this lecture, we're going to be looking at those little chemical messengers in our body called hormones. Sometimes a hormonal imbalance is the missing link. I've had people say to me, but Barbara, I'm going to bed early, I'm drinking all my water, I'm exercising every day, I'm eating a plant-based diet. They're ticking all the boxes, and then when I investigate, I find out they have a hormonal imbalance. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to begin by going through some of the symptoms of a hormonal imbalance. Then we're going to look at how the monthly cycle runs, then what throws it out, and we're going to finish by looking at what brings it back into balance. Because the body is ever trying to get a correct balance. You just need to give it the right conditions. So what about a female? Some of the symptoms of a female having a hormonal imbalance are early periods. Normal is 16 to 18, but you hardly ever hear that today. Obviously, there's always some exceptions to the rule, but on a whole, the average beginning of the menstruation traditionally was around 16. Today, we're getting young girls getting their periods at 9 years of age. If they get their periods at 9, they're starting to develop breasts at 8. That's far too young. Why would that be? Where's our why? Newton's third law of motion states that to every action there's an equal and an opposite reaction. In other words, there is always a cause. We're going to be looking at that this morning. Another symptom of a hormonal imbalance is very heavy periods, very painful periods. Also premenstrual tension. How many women and men think that's normal? I've got some good news today. It is not. And we're going to look at how that can be remedied. Also fibroids in the uterus, cysts on the ovaries, polycystic ovarian syndrome, polyps in the uterus, cervical polyps, cervical cancers, lumps in the breasts, fibrous tissue in the breast, breast cancer, uterine cancer. These can all be symptoms of a hormonal imbalance. Also, depression can be a symptom. Thyroid problems, also heart disease. These are some of the symptoms, probably the main symptoms of someone having a hormonal imbalance, a female. What about a male? With a male, low sperm count can be a symptom. Also, inability to hold an erection. It's called PD, penile dysfunction. The current figures in Australia are 50% of men over the age of 40 are struggling with this one. Also, prostate problems. Prostate problems is a result of a hormonal imbalance. Well, again, there are other factors that come into play, as you will see, but it's one of the main causes.
Symptoms of hormonal imbalance. You might feel persistently tired, even after a full night's rest, or experience mood swings, anxiety, or depression that seem to come out of nowhere. Weight changes can also be a sign, whether it's unexplained weight gain or the frustrating inability to lose those extra pounds. For women, a common sign of hormonal imbalance is irregular menstrual cycles, missed periods, heavy bleeding, or cycles that just don't feel normal. And let's not forget the impact on libido. A lowered sex drive is a major indicator that your hormones might need some attention. Your skin and hair might also show signs. Acne, dryness, or excessive hair loss can all point to a hormonal issue. In some cases, women may notice unusual facial hair growth. Do you struggle with sleep disturbance, like trouble falling asleep, staying asleep, or waking up feeling unrested? Or maybe you're dealing with digestive problems, like bloating or constipation, that don't seem tied to diet alone. Some people experience hot flashes, night sweats, or the uncomfortable feeling of being constantly overheated. Others might notice a sense of brain fog, difficulty concentrating or remembering things. If you're trying to conceive, hormonal imbalances can cause fertility issues. And over time, they can even affect your bones, leading to low bone density and an increased risk of osteoporosis. Lastly, if you're experiencing frequent headaches or migraines, particularly around certain times of the month, it could be tied to your hormones.
Too much of the female hormone can cause a man to be effeminate, and too much of the male hormone can cause a woman to be masculine. I don't know what it's like in the US, but in Australia you're almost not allowed to talk about that, but I'm just giving you the science today. So what we're going to do today is we're going to have a look at what the hormones or how they're made. We're going to have a look at how the monthly cycle runs. Notice our sex hormones are made from cholesterol, very important lipid in the body. From cholesterol, the body makes pregnenolone. From pregnenolone, the body makes progesterone. Progesterone is a key hormone because from progesterone, estrogen is made, from progesterone, testosterone is made, and from progesterone, the adrenal hormones are made. We're going to look at the 21-day, or 27-day, I should say, cycle, 27 or 28-day cycle. We're going to look at it like a dance, because it is like a dance. Different players come onto the stage at different times of the month. And estrogen's going to be wearing a red outfit, and estrogen's role is that of a cell proliferator. Cell proliferator basically means causes massive cell growth. And it is estrogen that causes the skinny young girl to develop into a beautiful, shapely woman. But if the estrogen remains high, the beautiful, shapely woman can get out of shape the other way. Progesterone is the other player in our dance of the hormones today. And progesterone is going to be wearing a green outfit. Progesterone's role is that of a happy hormone. It's one of its, there's a few roles, as we'll see, but it's often called the happy hormone because of its ability to raise the mood. We have a saying in Australia, you may have it here, it's called happy wife, happy life. Is that right? I'd like to say happy wife, happy home. Many homes have an unhappy home because the woman has a hormonal imbalance and she's lacking progesterone. So let's begin at day 1 of the monthly cycle. At day 1 of the monthly cycle, this is the day that a woman begins to menstruate. Day 1 of the monthly cycle, the estrogen levels are low. Day 1 of the monthly cycle, the progesterone levels are low. So both hormones are backstage in that week that a woman begins to menstruate. But by the end of menstruation, around day 7, estrogen levels begin to rise. So by day 14, estrogen is now the star player in the dance of the hormones. What we're going to do now is we're going to go to the stage where the hormones are played out. And this is the reproductive area of a woman's body. This is the uterus, this is the cervix, this is the birth canal. These are the fallopian tubes on the side, so one on each side. But also, down the bottom of the fallopian tubes, there are the ovaries. And the ovaries are connected to the uterus by a ligament. So they're the reproductive organs of a woman's body. At this time of the month, estrogen, with its cell proliferator action, is causing massive cell growth in the lining of the uterus, once again developing the blood nest, I call it. The tissue that lines the uterus is called endometrium. Massive cell growth is also happening in the ovaries, causing eggs to develop. A form of lubricant is also released in the birth canal. Now by day around 14 or 15, a fully developed egg bursts forth from the ovaries, and the little filaments on the end of the fallopian tube basically pick up the egg, and it moves up, up, up. The fallopian tubes are ever moving like that, causing that egg to move up. Now the hole where the egg bursts forth develops a blister, and that blister is called the corpus luteum. I have written it in green because corpus luteum is the main site of progesterone production in a woman's body. Can you see the importance of a woman ovulating every week? Because every month, when a woman ovulates every month, that's the release of the egg, corpus luteum's made. So when corpus luteum's made every month, then progesterone levels are maintained, and that's very important to keep the mood and also to keep balance of all the other hormones. So let's go back to our monthly cycle. So by day 14, with the development of corpus luteum, we've got a rise in progesterone levels. And because we have our egg, we have our blood nest, and we have our lubricant, Estrogen's given the message and can go backstage now. So what effect does the rise in progesterone have? Progesterone has a ripening effect on the lining of the uterus, putting the finishing touches on the uterus. Progesterone also heightens a woman's mood at this time of the month to the point of increasing her sexual desire at this time of the month. But progesterone has another effect, and I'm going to draw it here. Here is the cervix. From side on, it looks like this gateway into the uterus. From top down, it looks like a little cushion. So it's a little soft cushion with a middle. And that middle contains a mucus plug. But at this time of the month, with the rise in progesterone, the lips come up a little tighter. The mucus plug releases, and a special form of lubricant is produced around the cervix. And that lubricant is designed specifically to facilitate the entry of sperm up into the uterus. So you can see that the stage is set for the entry of man. The sperm is the smallest cell in the human body, and with each ejaculation, between 200 and 500 million sperm are released with one ejaculation. But sometimes up to half of that comes out. So we're down to half, and if the sperm meet this cervix, it's very difficult to gain entry. If the sperm meet this cervix, this lubricant literally shoots it up into the uterus. And it's got a long journey. These sperm have a long journey. Some of them go down the wrong road and basically they die and they're taken away. But some of them go down the right road and aha, they've found their prize. I saw a photograph one day of 15 sperm all trying to gain entry into one egg. Now the surface of the egg has folds like this. And what the sperm has to do, it has to nestle its nose into one of those joins. It's not easy. Once it has gain entry, all the other folds shut tight and a chemical is released to kill off any other sperm that might try and gain entry. It's incredible what they know now about the human body. Occasionally, two sperm enter at the exact second. That's when the twins share the placenta. So what happens in pregnancy? The hormone levels change. Progesterone soars 200%. Don't we often say when a woman's pregnant, she's just blossoming? We have 3 estrogens in the body, only 1 progesterone. Estradiol is called E1. And estrone is called E2, and estriol is called E3. It is estradiol and estrone that have strong cell proliferator action, whereas estriol is often called the delicate estrogen, a little bit milder, and it is estriol levels that rise in pregnancy. Let me tell you something about sperm, because I think this is important to know and it is interesting. Sperm has an immune suppressant property. So when sperm enters a woman's body, it's an alien. And a woman's immune system will attack and wipe it out. So God put in the sperm, and actually it takes the immune suppressant property on when it goes through the prostate gland of a man. So when the immune suppressant property starts up, it's quite possible that the immune system can be knocked back. So there's a little bit of a battle there. Mm-hmm. And sperm would not survive if it didn't have that immune suppressant action. Can you see that? But the good news is woman's body has memory. So every time her husband's sperm enters her, her immune system rises, it sees familiarity, oh, it's husband, we'll just stand back. But can you imagine how dangerous it can be in a woman that has multiple partners? And you can also see how dangerous it can be in the area of anal sex. It can really wipe out the immune system. So what causes the disruption? Before we look at what causes the disruption, if no conception happens, no pregnancy, then by tray 26, the levels are dropping both of progesterone and of estrogen, and when both those levels drop, the blood supply to the uterus is cut, and when the blood supply to the uterus is cut, then the blood nest comes away and we are once again at day 1 of the monthly cycle. That's how the cycle should look, but unfortunately today, not many cycles look like that.